I guess I have something.
Shoot.
The reviews for Uncharted came out this morning.
And
It's looking real bad.
but like I feel like video game movies never have a fair shake though.
Yeah.
Because like video games are what you make it to be. That's what makes it a video game. It's like the Mario movie. It doesn't stand a chance because it's like we all play Mario differently. Like how like it has no chance. Or a Link movie or a Zelda movie or whatever. Like I mean,
I don't know. I feel like I'll be more open to a Mario or a Zelda movie than I am for an Uncharted movie because I feel like Uncharted already feels like a movie. So turning that game into a movie, it's a decrease.
I mean, so what were all the negative reviews about though?
That it's very whatever. That it's not. That if you remove the fact that it comes from a game, like it really does nothing new for like the adventure genre or anything.
But I mean, like, what did the games do that was new though?
The thing that the games did that was like, wow, it's the fact that it put you in the shoes of that adventure thing, you know? It's kind of like watching an Indiana Jones movie and then feeling like and then playing as Indiana Jones. So that's what Uncharted was. That it gave you the experience of kind of engaging with a movie-ish adventure, you know, or with a cinematic level of adventure. So it kind of only works as a game. So turning it back into a movie kind of doesn't work.
But okay, I have a theory, and I'm more than open to being wrong here, but I think I'm right. If Indiana Jones had come out as a video game first, and then they made the movie with Harrison Ford, directed by Steven Spielberg. Like if they had done it after the fact, I can almost guarantee you it wouldn't have worked. People would have been saying the same thing. Like it's like no, they take it as its own individual piece of entertainment and go from there. Because
I agree with that. But here's the thing, you know, we'll review the movie when we see it, you know, and we'll talk about it when we do see it. And I will only judge it as what it is. But here's also the thing: the movie has been in the can since like the first game came out. The first game came out in like 2007 or 8. Yeah. Like I remember there were talks of like, hey, maybe Mark Wahlberg is going to play Uncharted. And so much time has passed that Mark Wahlberg is playing the guy that is helping Nathan Drake, who in the games, Sully, he's an old man.
I mean, Mark Wahlberg isn't known for doing like the best movies. I'm just saying.
I don't know what you're talking about. Four Brothers is like fantastic.
Have you seen Infinite?
I have not. No.
Exactly. Hey,
I don't dislike Wahlberg. He's a little weird. Like I've heard he punches Asian men in the street. So don't not a fan of that. But I like Instant Family. Instant Family was a cute movie. And I think it was fun in that.
You know what the thing is about Mark Wahlberg, and I wrote this review. I don't remember where I did it, but I put all of his movies are so bland because they always do the same thing. Insert man is the only thing standing between insert government agency taking over insert country and or world. You know, one man army to defend insert freedom or United States. Like. He always plays generically the same shit every movie. I listed it back when we started our website, like just a shit talk. When he did Spencer PI or something like that. Anyway, like
Spencer
just
Confidential.
Thank you. But ever since then, it's like Wahlberg is like he did like 3 movies that I really like, and that's about it.
All right.
So
Ted 2 and Four Brothers.
No, Ted, Four Brothers, and I think it's called Fighter. The one he did with Christian Bale.
Okay, yeah, Fighter.
Yeah,
so know the other guys.
No Boogie Nights.
No The Departed. No Boogie Nights.
Oh, fuck you. Fine, I guess The Departed. No Boogie Nights.
No Pain and Gain.
The Pain and Gain was stupid.
Horizon. No Transformers 4.
Still stupid.
No Three Kings.
Still stupid.
No Shooter.
Still stupid.
No Patriots Day.
Can I say something real quick? I feel like so I had a friend of mine tell me once that Shooter was her favorite film of all time. I was like, that's such a weird movie to pick.
That is a weird movie.
Right. But then the more I thought about it, the more it made sense. Because she was, I'll say this, she's part of one of those individuals that's very, I say this, pro-gun. I'll go in that direction. Pro government is trying to take us all over. The pro like conspiracy theorist.
Okay.
And it made sense to me because I'm like, oh my God, you people think that you're the good guy. You think you're in an action movie. You think you're the one being framed, or you're the shooter. You're the one person standing between us and freedom. I think that's what a lot of people think. Like they're the protagonist in this action film. And that's how we got January 6th, 2021.
You know, it's weird because that's exactly what I thought about the movie Nobody. And yet you were like, yeah, no, this is awesome.
Because it's contained. Like, it's like, oh, it's just this one dude and like this one Russian mafia. Like, they got beef. Like, it's not like a conspiracy that the United States is trying to murder the president and the CIA is trying to take over, like the Illuminati. It's just like, hey, I was a hitman. You got beef with me? Let's go.
Do you think we lost the? Do you think that we lost the Del Toro artsy kids?
We probably did. We should get back to the review. And there we go. We cut it there.
That's how you make a bid.
God.
All right.
All right. Also, for what it's worth, I really did like this movie.
Okay. All right.
Did it come out before New Year's?
No. Well, okay. Depends on where you were. It didn't come out here until January, but it's nominated for Best Picture. So,
I mean, I'm going to be straight up with you. This will probably make my top 10 of the year. I really liked it. I really liked it. Unless Murder on the Nile like pulls something out of its ass.
We should get into it. All right. Ready?
And 5, 4. Wait, what the fuck? I do that for video reviews. You introduce us.
You go first.
You go first.
No, you hang up. No, you hang up.
Thank you for welcoming us onto your screens or onto your headphones, depending on how you're watching this. I'm Eddie.
And I'm Chema, reviewing Nightmare Alley. And this
is the rollback. We almost had that perfectly synced that one time.
Yeah, I mean, Zumbi's gonna give us a delay either way, so yeah. All right, so Nightmare Alley, man or beast, an ambitious carnival man with a talent for manipulating people with a few well-chosen words, hooks up with a female psychiatrist who is even more dangerous than he is. So we have Nightmare Alley, the new movie directed by our Lord and Savior Guillermo del Toro, who we love here on this channel, your channel, our show. At least I do. You know, we'll get a bit into its history, and it is a kind of a weird detour for del Toro. It is his first movie without any paranormal or monsters or ghosts or anything like that. So it has to live on performances. It has to live on environment. It has to live on how it looks and how it feels. And we have Bradley Cooper. We have Cate Blanchett, Toni Collette, Willem Dafoe, Rooney Mara, and a bunch of others really good actors. So I've heard this is based on a book. So it's also a movie that is not out of del Toro's own imagination. And it has somehow found itself running as one of the front runners for the Oscars because it's nominated for Best Picture. I think it's also nominated also for like design or for like costumes or anything or something like that. Kind of very few categories, but one of the big ones. So, what do we think about Guillermo del Toro's new movie, Nightmare Alley? Go ahead.
Well, can I preface this by saying I'm not the biggest Guillermo del Toro fan. I don't dislike his stuff. Like, genuinely, he's one of those directors that I've just never really caught on. Like, I really like his Hellboy films, but that's about it, if I'm being honest with you.
Okay.
He's just been... He's niche. I think he's a niche, yeah. He's a Kevin Smith, you know.
he does things. Yeah, he's much like Kevin Smith does things for Kevin Smith fans. Guillermo del Toro does things for Guillermo del Toro fans. I agree.
But I mean, I liked Blade 2. I really liked Hellboy. Don't care for much else. But Nightmare Alley, damn, this is a callback to like straight 1940s, 50s, and 60s noir. You know, noir? You know what I'm saying. Mystery. I know what I'm saying. Mystery. Yeah. You have the Damsel of Distress. It's a mystery. You have the Damsel of Distress. The Fall. You have, like, I mean, it's just, I love the way that the story is structured in general. I want to get into, the first, second, and third act with you actually in detail because I really like the whole way it's all spread out. But my first reaction is I really like it. I know we're only, folks, as of the time of this recording, it's only February 15th. We're only like, 6-7 weeks into the year. But I'm already looking at this as this is probably in my top 10. Like in a year when we film our next one, I have every anticipation this will probably be there just because of how good this movie is. What's it called? It's not often that you get a movie that's old school mystery, like who done it, how they done it, or like you go on one of these trips and this movie feels like it. I'm sorry, I don't know if you can tell. I liked it. Yeah.
No. And I'm shocked because not because you like a movie, but because Guillermo del Toro is a subject that we haven't attacked directly yet on the show. I don't think we've reviewed any of his movies so far. I mentioned Shape of Water being in my top 10 of that year when that came out. And I liked it a lot. And I think the Academy did as well because it won Best Picture and it won a bunch of awards. I've been a Guillermo del Toro fan for a long time. I love the both Hellboy and Hellboy 2. I saw them in theaters. It's one of the. Okay, so you know how you grow up. You have siblings. You have sisters, right? Yeah. You probably have done this thing where like you grew up watching a movie a lot of times that you quote with them. You probably do. You have like one or two lines that you like say back and forth. You don't? No. Okay, my sister and I do. And
my sisters were significantly older than me. I think we have a bigger difference than y'all.
That's right. We're only like 2 years difference. There is a scene in Hellboy 2 where Hellboy and I forgot his name, but like the fishman, they're drinking beers and they're sad because he loves this girl and Hellboy is like,
I can't live
smile without you. Yeah, you know the scene. Yeah, so my sister and I saw that scene in theaters when we were kids, and there's a scene where like after they finish, Hellboy rushes us to like his locker and pops up a 6-pack of Tecate beers. And they're obviously Tecate because Del Toro is Mexican, and he has like the last one, and he just goes, "Son las últimas." So he's saying like they're the last ones, and like my sister and I quote that one line over like through our entire lives. Like every time we're like, "It's the last one," we're like, "It's the last ones." Like it's like a line that we just quote like over and over. So like that's a thing that like goes all the way back there. I'll do you another one. Let me show you something. I kind of rejected the idea of physical media in the recent years. I've sold most of my Blu-rays because everything's streaming now. And that's fine, the physical needs. I, however, keep this. This is not going to do for great radio. This is the Criterion Collection for Guillermo del Toro. It's 3 of his movies, and it's the Criterion package. And I love this thing. It's like this. It's a box, and there's like it goes like this, and it's 3 of his movies. It's Mimic. It's the Devil's. It's Chronos. It's the Devil's Backbone, and it's Pan's Labyrinth. So that's all 3 of his movies, and they're Blu-rays, and they are like his editions with like his commentary, and it has a journal with his drawings and everything. And I love this thing, and I only have Criterion for this, and I have one for Y Tu Mamá También, which is another Mexican movie directed by Alfonso Cuarón. So I love Guillermo del Toro. When you're Mexican, you love Guillermo del Toro. I don't know how to explain this. We just have an attachment to the guy. He just feels like he's really nice. There's an ongoing joke that everyone says that he smells like hotcakes. I don't know who came up with that, but there's like an ongoing joke with they're like, there's Guillermo del Toro. He seems like he smells like hotcakes. And then there's a picture of like Christopher Nolan hugging him at the Oscars. And then he like turns around and he's being interviewed. And somebody wrote, they asked him what it felt like to hug Guillermo del Toro. Christopher Nolan confirms he smells like hotcakes. I don't know where it came from, but it's a beautiful joke and I love it. So he's an inspiration to all of us, you know. I see him the way that Remy the Rat saw that chef in Ratatouille. Like when he's like, maybe one day I'll get to be a chef. You know, that's how every Mexican sees Guillermo del Toro. We see him and we're like, maybe one day we'll get to exploit, we get to, you know, leave this horrible country and like succeed somewhere else. You know, that is what he represents. So when Guillermo does something, we follow him. Okay. That when he was promoting Shape of Water, there was a beautiful moment when they asked him, hey, how come all of your movies are really dark and depressing and about monsters, but yet you seems like such a jovial, happy person? And he said, because I'm Mexican. And that became the battle cry of the century. So we love Guillermo in this house. I love Hellboy. I love Hellboy 2. Pacific Rim, I think it's awesome. I think it's such a fun action movie. I like Shape of Water. Pan's Labyrinth, I think it's one of the most important movies ever made of all time. And I think he is a genius, and I think he's one of the most important people in the industry right now. Okay. And I got excited to see Nightmare Alley, but I had this like small suspicion that it wasn't a movie that I don't want to speak for him. Obviously, I don't know him, but it feels like a movie that he did for the studio. Like the studio was like, hey, one for you, one for me, you know?
Yeah.
So it doesn't feel like, out of all of Guillermo del Toro's movies, it fits aesthetically, it fits thematically, and yet for some reason, it feels like the odd one out. It feels it feels like it's the one designed to be more of a, I don't want to say mainstream movie, but it feels like the one that feels the more, weirdly, his most normal movie, if that makes sense. Like I used to say that was Pacific Rim, but no, Pacific Rim is like weird enough. And this one is weird. Like, obviously, it's a Del Toro production. It has to be, but it feels more like
mainstream weird,
but like very accessible. I think it's very accessible. I wouldn't be surprised if this becomes like his highest grossing movie, like straight up.
I mean, does it have the most star power that he's ever had?
Yes.
I'm unfamiliar with everything.
I would say yes. Yeah. Because like I think the most famous people that has been in his movies are like Tom Hiddleston in Crimson Peak, I think.
Probably, and that's because I don't remember that movie having a lot of marketing. Now that I think about it, it was a hard R.
Yeah.
Is this on track to be his highest grossing film? Wouldn't that be Hellboy, or am I wrong?
I don't know what his highest grossing film would be, but I do think that this is his most like widespread, easily accessible, digestible film, if that makes sense.
It's not niche Del Toro. does that make sense? It's like cop out for Kevin Smith. It's the most un-Kevin Smith movie Kevin Smith has ever made.
Yeah, but you know, it's not an insult. It still feels like a Del Toro movie.
Yeah,
in a good way. Yeah, but it does feel like it's. Here's the thing about Del Toro, and I say this lovingly. Okay, Del Toro is an incredibly creative person, and he's giving too much freedom, and that is good because every movie that we get from him is really unique in its own way. It's not for everyone, but it's definitely the movies that I know he wants to make. And he is someone like Hideo Kojima for video games. Like he is someone that they give him he has a lot of creativity, but the studios don't tend to restrain him. And because of that, he tends to make movies that are for him and for his people. They're not commercial successes. Like his movies are not commercials, they're critical successes. and they are movies that are remembered, and there are movies that are quoted and referenced and immediately recognizable, but they're not high grossing movies. They're not. Like Pacific Rim was famously tanked and famously bombed. And because it was like people kind of went to see a Transformers movie and they were shocked when it wasn't, but it was good. And and it was different enough. So I don't blame people who don't get into his movies because they are kind of niche. Yeah. So, but that means that they don't make enough money. I feel like this is like the middle. This Nightmare Alley is the middle ground. Like the studio was like, hey, make this movie, make it a little restrained, make back a little money, and then go and do something new that you want. Because I know his next movie is going to be his version of Pinocchio that's going to come out on Netflix. And I think it's going to come out in December. I think that's pretty much like almost done. So, he's probably going to be saved for like a different production. But I've heard directors say that when they do movies, it's one for me, one for them being the audience, them being the studio. And I feel like that's what this movie is. I feel like this movie is like, okay, middle ground. Okay, I need to make something that like it's a little bit more recognizable, has a little bit more star power, and maybe more easily digestible. It should have not worked, which is why I'm shocked why this movie was actually really good.
Is it just me? And I could be wrong. I think this is the first movie he's ever done. And again, I'm not as familiar with his work as other people, where he hasn't had a monster in it. I mean, I guess technically the monster's inside of us all. We'll fucking get to that later. But like, there's no Hellboy, there's no vampires, no beasts, no ghosts, no real ghosts.
Nothing supernatural.
Yeah, it's more of a. Is it cautionary tale the right phrase to say? It's more of a story rather than an actual, mythic story. The other films that he's done, correct me if I'm wrong, were they all original ideas from him?
Pan's Labyrinth is kind of like his version of Alice in Wonderland, kind of very loosely. Pacific Rim is like his tribute to like kaijus and Gundams. Nightmare Alley, I know, is based on a novel. Crimson Peak, I don't know. I think it might be based on a novel, but I don't know. Hellboy, obviously based on the comics, and Blade, also based on the comics. I think Devil's Backbone, Chronos, and Mimic, those are original, I think. Yeah. But yeah.
But let's dive into it. Let's dive to the first act. And I think the first act is probably from the beginning right up until the point that he leaves the carnival. Yeah. The beginning leads us into a cliffhanger, like right from the get-go, where there's a body that he's throwing to the bottom of a house, and he sets the house on fire and walks out.
Great way to start a movie, by the way.
I was like, well, yeah, who the fuck is this guy? Who is he burying? Is that his wife? His kid? Who the fuck is this? And he's a down on his luck guy. This movie also takes place in the 40s, which I think serves the story, because you couldn't do a movie like this, modern day. They have to do it, back in the 40s.
Yeah.
He joins a carnival and he learns tricks of the trade from a mentor or father figure, I guess, in the face of Pete. And I think Xena is her name, the one that kind of talks to him about everything.
Xena, yeah.
Xena. In addition to that, he helps out Willem Dafoe playing William Dafoe.
Well, Willem Dafoe was having a fucking ball in this one.
Told me wrong, Clem. So they're there. He learns about something called a geek, which is part man, part beast. In reality, it's just a dude who's like high off his ass on meth and opioids and whatnot. But
we have those.
Yeah. But we don't have them at the circus. We just, put them in jail. Which I don't know, maybe a Fight Club would be cool. No, we shouldn't go there. Anyway, and he learns all these tricks of the trade, which I don't know about you. I thought it was pretty cool when they showed us how they were doing all these tricks, to get people to think that, oh, wow, we're actually, they're actually clairvoyant. Just swap them out and then you read it and you have the mirror over here. It's like, oh, that's how they fucking do it. Because it's fake, but how do you fake it? That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
I wonder how much money Guillermo del Toro had to give someone so that way they would tell them their secrets.
If I knew those secrets and Guillermo just asked me, I would just be like, sure. Can I smell you?
Okay.
I just want to know if it smells like hot because I just want to confirm that, okay? To confirm that theory. Okay. Yeah, here's the thing. Before watching this movie, I saw, I think, one trailer. And after that, I just saw posters and that was it. So when the movie switched from being in the carnival to being in this other location completely for like another 2/3 of the movie, I was shocked because I thought the whole movie was going to be in the carnival. I thought the whole movie was just going to be a day in, day out of this, like, of what happens here, you know? Mm-hmm. And we see, you know, our protagonist, who's played by Bradley Cooper. His name is Stan. And he meets all these people. And of course, he starts learning and everything. He meets Rooney Mara, who's a girl called Molly, and she gets electrocuted and she can somehow survive it. And they begin like this kind of romance that eventually leads them out. I thought it was cool. I thought it was believable. I think the scenes at the carnival are really the best scenes in the movie. I love how atmospheric it is. Like Del Toro movies really surround you in the locations, and it really felt. I like how they kept revisiting the same locations. It kind of felt like if you were to drop me there, I would know where everything is. Like I would know where a certain tent would be. I know where Bradley Cooper was sleeping. I know where the pit was. Like I feel like I could find myself around this place. Okay. And I think that Toro really built those sets really wonderfully because you could really tell like what is happening in the scene in those scenes. I was a little confused when like the movie starts and like Bradley Cooper doesn't say a line until like maybe like 10 minutes into the movie. And then when he talks, he has like this accent. So this is like the first time that I've seen Bradley Cooper in something where I feel like he's really disappeared into a role. Like there were scenes where I straight up forgot that it was Bradley Cooper. Like I was just seeing a character.
Yeah.
And, you know, he's proved once and again that he's a good actor. Like he is. But I feel like this is the first time where I've seen him like really like submerge himself into a character. And I think the accent helped, the clothes helped, the hair, everything just worked. All the other actors do a great job, but he's never been like an actor that I'm like excited to see, like, oh, I'm so excited to see the new Bradley movie. Like, no, not really. I like his movies, but this is the first time where I'm like, God damn, like he really impressed me in this one. You know? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The whole cast, star-studded, you know. Props to Del Toro. He restrained. You use the word restrain a lot, and I think you're right. Also, like the star-studded cast is all throughout, you know, and he restrained himself enough to not use William Dafoe the whole time. He didn't use Ron Perlman the whole time. You know, he didn't use all these other great actors and actresses the entire duration of the film. He spread it all out. You're right. He sent everything. It was all practical, which I appreciate because I can tell you right now, they probably would have CGI'd it if they could have, but Del Toro don't play that fucking game.
Yeah. No, he was great. That's what I like about his movies. You can really feel the size of everything, and they really involve you. And then when we get to the second and third act, when basically we spend more time in these hotel rooms and in these offices and these other spaces, the shadow work is wonderful. It really builds on the atmosphere, and you can really tell. Like you mentioned, you compared it to a noir. You know, I'm not very familiar with noirs. I've seen more parodies of noirs than I've seen actual noirs. But if this is one, like, it's a good one, because like the shadows and everything feels like the cover of like an old pulpy novel. And I love that, man. I love the aesthetic.
It feels like a dime store book. You know, it feels like one of those old school. I'm sorry, I like those old school films. I like those old school, you know, mystery films that, you know, and it's not so much a mystery of like what happened, it's how they done it. You know, who done it. Yeah. With like detectives. I think the closest thing you could think of would probably be like BioShock, the third one, the one with Booker and Elizabeth.
BioShock Infinite, yeah.
That one, yeah, that's about as close as you can come. Like if you want to think of noir that modern day, maybe even something like that. Like you have a gumshoe detective. Chinatown's another one. But anyway, this movie just feels like a love letter to that. And it's so rare that we get great old school films like this that feel old school, that feel like, these are films that this director probably saw this kind of film when he was a kid and was like, you know what, I want to make one of those, and great job. Mm-hmm. Do you want to jump into the second act, or you got anything else to say about the first?
When we can jump into the second act, I really missed the characters in the first act. Like, I love Willem Dafoe. Like, I could see Willem Dafoe in everything, and I never get tired of him. Okay, I think I mentioned this before, but like, I see Willem Dafoe as like a man that wakes up every morning, like brushes his teeth, puts on his clothes, gets some coffee, and like gets to the set holding his script, and he's skipping the entire time. And then he gets to set, and right before they yell action, he's like, I get to act today. Like that's the vibe that I get from him on every performance. And that's the vibe that everyone should give when they're doing their job. But like, that's the vibe that I get from him when he's doing a performance. I feel like he's always so into it and so engaged with every performance that he does. So I love them in this movie, especially because if you just saw him in like Spider-Man, and then seeing him in this, like, it's such a great 1-2 punch because they're not that different. But that was Dafoe and his most like unhinged ever since I saw him play Jesus Christ. But in this one, it's like, in The Last Temptation of Christ, directed by a young director called Martin Scorsese. And there is you never heard of this movie?
No.
Never heard of The Last Temptation of Christ?
No.
Oh, watch it. It's good.
I don't think I want to.
Yeah, Martin Scorsese, like, it's like his second movie, and it's great.
Jesus.
Anyways,
dude, literally.
Anyways, so so I missed those characters. I like where the story went, and I like how eventually it was resolved. But if you would have given me but remember, this is a 2.5-hour movie. It's a long movie, and it feels long, and it feels like it's 45 minutes of them in the carnival and then an hour and 45 of them, like, with another storyline. And if you would have given me a 2-hour movie of just people living at the carnival and making ends meet, I would have enjoyed it. But we've established before, I am a guy that enjoys like the casual, nothing happening mundane storylines. And this is clearly not that kind of movie, but the atmosphere that was building in the carnival was so strong that I could have enjoyed it if it lasted a bit long. But that's my main thing. Like, I like the movie, but when you see the poster, it's got Bradley Cooper, Cate Blanchett, Rooney Mara, and like other people that are also in the carnival that don't show up again, except for like a short little scene. So I don't know if that's how the movie was marketed or they just need to have more faces in the poster, but I kind of miss those characters. Now that I know like how the story is and everything, I know that they didn't need them anymore. But that's just how I felt the movie was going to be versus what it actually was. Yeah.
Do you remember the trailer at the very first trailer when the teaser came out a long time ago?
No, I think I just saw I never saw the trailer like on purpose. I saw the trailer when I was like in theaters and they showed the trailer.
So, and it may have been the teaser trailer, but the very first trailer that I remember watching for this film, it had nothing to do with Bradley Cooper or being like clairvoyant or psychic or any of that shit. The way they presented it is that there was a monster on the loose and they're trying to catch it.
Okay.
Like they're trying to contain it. They're trying to catch it. It got loose from the carnival. Something escaped. Like, that's the way they presented the film, was like there's a creature and then they need to get it. Maybe because the company that does the trailers is typically different from the production company. They hire a third-party company to like, hey, we need you to make a trailer for this, and that's it. Mm-hmm. That's stupid. I think you have fucking editors up the ass. Have one of them do it that knows what the fuck he's doing. But I digress.
They gotta sell their movie, yeah.
Yeah. But no, I didn't hate it. I like the fact that they started out at the carnival, and then it fast forwards 2 years, and we go into this story. Like I'm on your side. I get it. I don't mind the journey we went on. But yeah, so in the second act, I think it's about the part where they leave the carnival right up until the point where, God, where do you think the third act, the second act ends? When he starts sleeping with the psychologist, or they decide to make the judge a mark?
I think when they start to make the plan to trick the rich guy into, yeah, I think that's where the final act starts. So we start the second act, and here's where I also think that this was like a little bit more digestible. There is a physical thing that Bradley Cooper's character does that I think helps close out the movie at the end. That is when we jump into this new act, and I think 2 years pass. I think,
yeah, 2 years.
Bradley Cooper has this little thin mustache that he keeps for the rest of the movie. So does Willem Dafoe's character, and I don't think that was a coincidence.
Oh shit! I did not notice that.
I think that was on purpose. Like he was physically kind of becoming that con man, directing on charge. I feel like that was on purpose. Okay, mm-hmm. Like maybe he took everything he learned from that carnival, but then he also took like not his identity, but he took that from him. You know?
Yeah.
That's like the cue that I got from like there, and I thought, okay, that's definitely gonna play in later. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Which I mean, I'd say definitely it fucking does. So he's a successful guy in the big city. He has an act. He even says that he has 2 sellout shows per day. You know, they're doing pretty well. They have a fucking home, like a beautiful apartment with with fine dining and all of that. Seemingly everything's going well for them. And then this psychiatrist comes and challenges them, saying, I call bullshit. There's no way you're clairvoyant. Initially she makes things difficult. They risk, losing everything. But instead, Bradley Cooper decides to team up with her, and they start to run a scam. They start initially on this couple that lost their son in the war. And then the psychiatrist says, hey, if you want a real mark, I know this rich guy. We play with him. We play for keeps. And there's a lot of money to be made.
Yeah. That's where I wanted to mention this, because this movie is not a horror. It's not. It's got a couple of scenes that did make me jump. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Like not jump scares, but there were some scenes that maybe it was the sound design or the direction or something, but that scene, and we're obviously going through spoilers and everything, but like that scene where how he tricks that older couple into believing that their son is alive.
Yeah.
Well, not alive, but scene where like a long way after, this woman is like, that's so great that we got to talk to our dead son. Yeah, that's great. Okay, let's go see him now. And shoots her husband and then shoots herself. Those gun sounds felt a little too realistic. Maybe it's because it's the first time in a long time that I went to the theater and I didn't sat in the middle. I sat in one of the sides.
Oh,
maybe I was really close to the speakers. But those gun sounds were went a little too hard, and maybe it's because we didn't see the gun until it was finally being shot. Like something about that design really worked to make those scenes effective, because they got me to jump a couple times, and that happened like several times in the movie. I think it was really well executed, though.
No, you're right. That was fucking. It threw me off. I'll be honest with you, man. Was not expecting that in any way whatsoever. She's like that weird, soft-hearted mom. The actress, you don't expect her to do shit like that. So when she pulls a gun out of nowhere, I was like, oh, this is the backlash they were talking about. I wasn't expecting it, but okay, I guess that just happened.
Yeah, so the movie's like filled with scenes like that, and when we're in this act, the movie starts to feel very elegant, starts to feel very clean, it starts to feel very but very busy visually, which is the Toro's classic. And it reminded me a little bit aesthetically of The Shape of Water, which it takes place not in the same time. No, Shape of Water takes place in the 60s, if I'm not wrong, but close. Couple 10 years, 20 or something like that. But it feels kind of similar in that old school vibe. When we get Cate Blanchett in the role, who is great. I think she's one of the best actresses ever. But there was like a part of me that was like seeing her and Rooney Mara in the same scene. I felt like I was watching a sequel to Carol.
Oh my God, I'd never seen that movie, but that was always on my list.
It's good.
I believe it. I believe you that it's good.
Yeah. But yeah, I felt like I was watching a sequel to Carol, also because it takes place in like older times and like the way they dress and everything. But Cate Blanchett is she's at her Cate Blanchett in this, like really, like she really feels like she's from another time, and she does great in this. Kind of stealing the spotlight from Bradley Cooper, if I'm honest.
Really, you thought so?
I felt like they were gonna. Those two are very like, hey, watch me. Like, hey, watch me. I mean, I'm the captain now. Okay.
Well,
but Blanchett is just better. Like, she's just miles above him, and like, and it shouldn't be a competition, but she steals that spotlight. Like, that spotlight is her. The camera loves her. Okay, so she does great. Yeah.
The thing is she reminds me of an old school femme fatale. She feels like that,
I was
the blonde hair, the red lipstick. She fits the role perfectly. She even incorporates her scar that she has. I think she alluded that she crossed the wrong person. Like that's what happened. She utilizes all of that, and it's just you can tell from a mile away. Oh, she's death. Like, she will kill you, man. She will be the cause of your demise.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. I mean, and that's what happens.
Yeah.
But no, she. So you're familiar with the whole femme fatale, cliche and all that.
Absolutely.
And she fits it perfectly, and this film does it perfectly. Rooney Mara, her character, is seemingly like the kindest, most loving wife that you could ever hope for. She's the homemaker that you would hope for, and she is his partner. She's not clean exactly, but for how do I say it? You see Bradley Cooper physically choosing this path of destruction over this path of happiness. They could have continued the show, could have saved, could have had a good life, maybe had a family. But instead, this other woman drags him into this other direction where death is upon him, And she even says, "Oh, it's risky going down this road. What the fuck do you expect?" She's a better con woman than he is at that point. And if he couldn't read that he was getting played, I mean, fuck, that might be his fault.
Yeah, I agree. And Rooney Mara, who plays what's her name? Molly. Molly's a character. She's such a physical performer. Like she can give out a look, or she can give like a stare, and she kind of tells you everything with her body language. Like, she's such a good actor. That's why the movie A Ghost Story works so well, because she has almost no dialogue, and it's all based on like how she's feeling, how she's dealing with grief, and it's just all quiet and all that and all physical. But when she gets talking, God, she's good. I mean, she has that great monologue at the start of the Social Network, where she basically tells Zuckerberg, like, hey, you're gonna grow up to be this fancy computer person, and you're gonna think that girls don't like you because you're a nerd, but really it's because you're an asshole. And oh God, she has my heart since that day. And she's really good in this. She really plays that kind of like estranged wife character who's like, just come home, just like, tell me what's happening. Tell me the truth. Because she needs to know. And the fact that she like stays with him after everything and like plays into this lie, this con that he's running, which is a very what's the word?
Intricate?
Not intricate. I was gonna say like you do it without heart. Like you do it like
cold-hearted.
It's a cold-hearted thing to do. Like, hey, please dress as this guy, Death Wife, just to give him some closure, and he gives us money. That's fucking mean, man. And she's played up as this like, oh, I don't break a glass. I'm all pure, and like she is this really pure character. But the fact that she agrees with him and stays with him, I think says how much of a hold he had on her this entire time. Even though he was introduced as like the underdog, even though he was introduced as like the I don't break a glass, I don't do anything wrong, and then immediately he's given a little bit of power, and yeah, we lose him immediately.
And kick right in the nuts. Yeah.
Kick right in the nuts. Yeah. So I'm glad that she survives at the end, and like gets the fuck out of there. But no, she's great in it. And she's always great in stuff. But yeah, if you've seen Social Network or Her or Carol, Ghost Story, or hell, even Lion, which was recent, like she's always good.
Did you know? Fun fact: Did you know Rooney Mara is a football royalty?
I think her family owns the. Don't tell me. I know they own a football team. They are. Don't tell me. They're Pittsburgh Steelers. Yes.
Half right.
Okay.
So get this. Her father. I'm gonna get them mixed up one way or the other.
Yeah.
It's either her father's side founded the Steelers and her mother's side helped to found and own the New York Giants, or it's the other way where her mother's side founded the Steelers and her father's side co-owns the Giants.
Okay.
She is football royalty incarnate.
Why did I think she was British then?
They might be shit. British people have money, but since
no, she's American. She's American now.
Yeah. I mean, but since the Giants are in the NFC East and the Steelers can go fuck themselves, I mean, I still hate her. I now have to hate her as a person now, unfortunately. So, Rooney Mara, your performance in this film is adequate at best. Those are my mean words for you. You were great though in The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
Why do we hate the Steelers? Okay, please fill me up with this, because I don't know. We as Cowboy fans, because I am one as well, I have to. Why do we hate the Steelers?
Long-term franchise rivalry. They either have equal to or one more Super Bowl than we do, so fuck them for that reason as well. Also, Ben Roethlisberger is a thing. His name is technically Ben Roethlisberger, but there was a sexual assault that he allegedly did at a hotel with a girl who may or may not have been underage, if I'm not mistaken. And it just so happens that right around the time the charges were going to be filed, he happened to propose to his long-term girlfriend. They happened to get pregnant and, put out all this good energy right when the case was happening. I'm just fucking saying, maybe. White dude, a lot of money, got off on charges. Is that really that rare? I'm just saying.
Okay. I have another question.
Shoot.
How come Dak Prescott is the highest paid quarterback of all time, and yet he sucks so much?
He doesn't suck. No, okay. He should not have gotten that big contract.
I just learned that fact this morning. I need answers.
Okay, wait. Who told you this fact? And I will give you a good rebuttal.
My sister.
Tell your sister he is
overpaid. No. Answer the question first.
He is overpaid. No. I'm going to answer.
Okay.
He is overpaid. Okay. He is overpaid. I'll give you that. He is overpaid. He has incredible talent, but he lacks the football IQ that other quarterbacks do. He's a great player, but it's like a director. Think of it like this. It's a director directing his second movie versus a director on his 20th movie. He has more tricks he has more knowledge, more tricks of the trade later on. You get what I mean? His IQ is better, when he's at a later stage in his career. Dak is still semi-early-ish. I do agree, though, he is overpaid. I will completely agree with you.
Why is he overpaid if he hasn't? Did he show like a lot of promise in his college years or what?
No. His rookie season, we went 13-3. We were the number 1 seed in the NFC. Like, on half the league, we were number 1, like by far and large. So it's like this guy has a lot of talent. I think his second year, he still had a good run. Third year, he got injured pretty early on, if I'm not mistaken. So he was coming off an injury. But there was a lot of back and forth, like, well, if you fuckers don't sign me, like, I'm not going to play. So it was a big embroiled thing. And he basically said, look, if you want to win a Super Bowl, I need my money. Like, I need to get paid what a Super Bowl winning quarterback should be paid. You're going to have me for the next 4 to 5 years. I need to either you sign me to a big contract for 5 years, or you sign me to a smaller contract but only for 4 years. Because in theory, on that 5th year, he should be able to renegotiate for one more big contract versus his 5th year where he'd have to negotiate for a smaller one. It's mathematics. It's stupid. Dak, God damn it, you're overpaid, man. Take a fucking pay cut. That way we can get better players to help you.
Okay, so at least you agree that he's overpaid.
Oh, by far.
Okay.
So for all the Guillermo del Toro fans, we're back.
Okay, so that's why we don't like the Steelers. Why don't like the Giants?
Oh, because fuck them. They're rivals.
That's it.
They're in the same league as us, and they've actually won 2 Super Bowls since the last time we won ours. Oh, so, I mean, fuck them. Also, the season where we almost had a perfect season, probably the best season we had in the last 20 years. They beat us in the playoffs to go into the Super Bowl and defeat Tom Brady. So fuck them. Yeah, that's what I said. Fuck them. Anyway.
All right. Well, I am a big fan of Rooney Mara. So if that's worth something.
I'm a big fan of her partner.
Oh, she's dating Joaquin Phoenix, right?
Yeah, dude, that's a powerhouse couple if I've ever seen one.
That is, yeah.
They should get they should play a husband and a wife in a movie and just watch them unravel.
They played she played his like ex-wife and her.
Oh my god, I just realized something. What if in Joker 2 she plays
Oh my god, of course you were always like, I know that look. Like you made it look and I was like, oh, he's fan casting her in something. Okay. It's something DC related.
Tell me that wouldn't work. Like she plays a nurse, she plays a psychologist that slowly breaks down and she becomes like a Harley Quinn-esque character to him. In Arkham Asylum.
She would rock that role.
She would kill it in the role.
She would, yeah.
And then in the last movie, we have her and Margot Robbie fight to the death. I'm kidding. Anyway. Oh
god. If she was I know they're not gonna do this because they're technically not in the same universe, but like the Joker movie and the Batman movie that's coming out, they're not connected, right?
No, but I mean, what is there to suggest that they are? Because if you look at it, what tech? Like I don't remember seeing a phone in the Batman trailer.
We need to see at what time does that take place. Okay.
Oh wait, there are iPhones in that trailer. I remember now. They were using a phone to record the Robert Pattinson. He was beating the shit out of that guy with the.
Okay.
I'm vengeance. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay, then never mind. God, can you believe that movie's gonna be almost 3 hours long?
I already bought my tickets, motherfucker. I don't know what you're doing.
I saw me. We'll get back to Nightmare Alley in a second, but like I saw one meme. They had Goku and Vegeta. They were fighting, and someone wrote, "Wait, Vegeta, let's get out of here. Let's go fight somewhere where no one is. There's no one there." And then they photoshopped them in like the website to buy tickets in Mexico for the pre-sale for the Batman tickets. Because nobody's buying them.
Why?
Okay, maybe it's because the last superhero movie that came out was Spider-Man. So that, all websites went down for that. Yeah. This one, you can still buy tickets if you want. You could probably still buy tickets like at opening night. You could probably still buy them for like the best seats because like they're not selling out like Spider-Man tickets are. But yeah, I just remember that it came back. It's gonna be good. Like it's not gonna suck. Okay. Like worst case scenario, it's fine.
I can't wait. I'm gonna do a one-man podcast where I argue with myself what's better, the Batman or the Dark Knight, and I'm gonna break myself in the end. I'm just gonna just like fall over.
Oh god! Like worst case scenario, it's fine. Really, like that's how I see that.
Worst case scenario, it is incredible and it meets all my expectations. Best case scenario,
we forget Christian Bale was born.
Oh geez.
Let me connect this back and let me ask you a question. Now that you've seen Nightmare Alley, do you remember when Guillermo del Toro was attached to direct the Justice League Dark movie?
I still want that to happen. I want that to happen before I saw this movie. Like I knew enough about Del Toro to be like, he would kill it if he did it.
Okay. Yeah, because I don't know a lot of Justice League Dark. I think I only know what's his face?
Something.
I was gonna say Constantine, but yeah, I guess something too.
So Justice League Dark consists of Del Toro's cast was it was going to be John Constantine, Swamp Thing, Deadman, Jason Blood / Etrigan the Demon, and Zatanna. That was going to be his 5 core people. He was attached to direct it up until 2009, I want to say. The issue that they kept having was that they kept delaying the film and he kept taking on more projects. He got to a point where it's like, look, man, I wrote it, just pick someone to direct it at this point. He kept saying, I want to do it, but either you need to schedule me because I'm going to keep taking films. And his films aren't quick. You know, he develops them over the course of about 2 years and then films for about a year, you know, less than, edits and does everything. His films take time. So he said, either you need to schedule me or I'm going to keep taking projects and it's going to keep getting pushed back, which unfortunately it did. But a Del Toro Justice League Dark film would have been incredible. Like, fucking incredible.
Who would you have casted?
I have a fan cast.
I know you have a fan cast. Tell me the fan cast.
For Constantine, I'll say Colin Farrell.
Colin Farrell, okay.
But blonde hair, like that, like bleach tip, blonde hair.
Like in the show.
Yeah.
Okay. So you wouldn't bring back the guy from the show?
No, I mean he did a good job, but like for me, it's like, well, 1, we need star power, and 2, I just think Colin Farrell's awesome. If you need convincing, him in Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them was great in that. Like I feel like that's like the proto role. Yeah. So I feel like that's like the proto role. Like he fits the character of John Constantine. So let's fucking go there.
Okay.
And God damn it, I don't have my list with me, but I remember Constantine's casting.
Would you have kept Zatanna from the first Suicide Squad or somewhere else?
Zatanna wasn't in Suicide Squad.
She wasn't the girl with the samurai sword?
No, that's Katana, not Zatanna.
Oh, god damn it. Okay. Fine.
All good.
Still in me, like there's just the same fucking name with like a different
K and T.
Anyway.
Okay, Bema.
So Nightmare Alley by Guillermo del Toro. The film ends with like this great third act that it tugs on the heartstrings a bit because you kind of feel bad for this. I felt a little bit bad for I rarely feel bad for the rich, and I feel bad for this judge.
Oh, fuck this guy. He forced his wife to have an abortion. Fuck this guy.
No, but like nobody deserves to get played like that. And you know, no one was right here. No one was right. I think everyone was a victim except for Bradley Cooper, but he is the white man, so you know, he really had everything. So
look, man, this judge deserved it. Bradley Cooper deserved it. They all deserved the bad face that they got, except for Cate Blanchett. She should have been murdered.
No, she was doing her thing.
She had a gun. Just pop her in the head and then run. You fucking idiot.
So this movie ends and it kind of comes full circle. There's like a really beautiful moment near the end of the movie where like everyone in the theater, we were all thinking the same thing. The second that he got into that train and he sat behind and he hid behind those chickens and he was like sat there. We all thought the same thing. He's gonna be the geek. He's gonna end up back into the carnival and he's gonna be the new geek. I honestly thought the movie was going to end with like Defoe finding him behind the chickens and being like, it's a part-time job. Like, and I've thought that's when the movie was gonna end. But then, you can confirm it. We all thought the same thing. That because he could have just kept riding that high. He could have stayed at the carnival. He could have just developed that and become a part of it. But no, he had to take that outside. And that Pete warned him. He told him it's dangerous. He told him you lose part of yourself. You start believing your own lies. And everything just came back at him. It was beautiful, man. And then at the end, he finds himself in another carnival, and he's like, "Oh, I have an act. I can do things." And then the carny is just like, "It's a part-time job." And then we have what felt like an A24 scene where he just starts, creepily laughing for like a full minute, and the movie ends. Yeah.
So I had a quick question. I forgot to ask this. Do you think he poisoned Pete on purpose? Part of me thinks it was on purpose.
Part of me believes so too, but I don't think the movie tells you directly. Like, I think it lets you get to that conclusion.
No, you're not wrong. And then I remember the scene. So I want to talk about a scene real quick, but that made me go, there it is. When he's back at the farm, but just before the beginning of the film, you can presume it's his father who's like cold on a bed, trying to stay warm. And Cooper just says, I've always hated you. So he lifts up the window, takes the blanket from him, and lets him freeze right there. Just watching his father just die. And I'm just like, is this justice? Is this justice? Yeah, the meme of the guy with the butterfly.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. Like, part of me is like, people get what they deserve. Like, this film feels like it's a lot of like, not the best form of justice, but like, no one is innocent in this film. Not even Rooney Mara. Like, her character is not innocent at all. She went along with it all. But from the point that he kills his father to the point where, his little thin mustache has become a very thick beard. He has long hair. He's an alcoholic now. He's an addict. And it comes full circle, And you even see Enrock or Ernick, the Cyclops baby.
Oh yeah.
You see that and his radio from the very beginning, and I'm just like, son of a bitch, I can't believe it. And he says, you know what a geek is, right? Yeah. And I'm just like, oh my God, he's playing him. And the thing is, Cooper knows he's getting played, but he lets. But
what else is he supposed to do? Like, he's lost everything. Yeah.
You know what? That's another thing that kind of pissed me off when he's like, it's all singles. Where's the money? I'm like, there's at least $1,500 there at worst. And back then to now, that's $23,000. That gets you at least 6 solid fucking months, man. All right. You fucking idiot. You take the money, you come back like in a few weeks, pop her in the head, and then go.
But with that amount of money, how many Ghost energy drinks can you buy with that amount of money?
With $23,000?
Yeah.
Divide. I'm actually gonna do the fucking math right now. Somebody talk for like 15 seconds.
So that's the question. We will not stop speaking well of Ghost energy drink until we get a sponsor deal. There it is.
9,200.
There we go. That could have kept him alive without sleeping for like a good couple of weeks, I think.
Pretty sure that would have killed him. I'm pretty sure that would kill me too, and that's saying something. I had 3 energy drinks today. Bring it the fuck on.
There we go. So yeah, the movie is a cautionary tale. I think I only forgive long movies when they have an ending as strong as this one. And while I do think it is a strong ending, that it's gonna leave audiences walking out of the theater like, I'm smart, I understood that. I do feel like it is a good movie, and it is enjoyable. But I still remain on the fact that I still feel like this is like a movie that the studio told Del Toro, like, hey, do it, make a lot of money, we'll let you do something cool like in a couple of years, Yeah. So, even Del Toro at his most corporate, it's like listening to a really cool indie band and then release a pop single because they need to pay the rent.
I know you guys love all the other shit that I do, but guys, just give me a minute here. I need to do this.
Yeah, but it could be a very bad single, and it's not. It's good. So yeah. So that's what I think about Nightmare Alley. I think it is Del Toro at his most accessible. It is Del Toro at his probably the most tropiest, probably at his most structured. And that's not a bad thing, you know. It's just it leads to a more focused experience that, you know, like I said, more easily digestible. But I will prefer that from him than, I don't know, someone like Michael Bay. So yeah, so I enjoyed it. Yeah.
I mean, if I have to pick between a Guillermo del Toro experience or a Michael Bay experience, I mean that's a no brainer. This is a very del Toro film. Restrained, you're right, but it still feels like he still has enough of his like personality there.
Absolutely,
which just goes to show what a great storyteller he is, because he doesn't have the ability. And this is not me criticizing. It's more of an observation and appraisal.
Yeah,
he doesn't have monsters to fall back on for incredible spectacle. He doesn't have these big action set pieces to fall back on, or like these moments of like, ooh, look at all this, like look at that world that he built. He doesn't have that. All he has are these tools, these feasible tools that he has to work with to tell the story, and he does an incredible job. So, and again, that's not a criticism. I hope it doesn't come off like that. It's more of a appraisal. Like, dude, they took away all your toys, and you still did a great fucking job. Like, props to you. If they took away, most other directors, you take away their toys, you take away the explosions from Michael Bay. You know, what does he have?
Yeah. I think we could even see this as like experimental. Like, this is kind of like what Edgar Wright did last year with Last Night in Soho. Mm-hmm. Like, he's stepping into a new territory. Mm-hmm. And I think, if anything, I hope that this movie does make the money that the studio wants it to make. Clearly, it's doing well critically. I mean, it's nominated for Best Picture and everything. But if anything, I hope that this helps Del Toro become a better storyteller. Because if he can, like you said, if he can do something well without his usual, things that he shows and tells, I think he's going to come out stronger and maybe become more experimental as a director, and maybe direct like an amazing next movie, which I really want to see how Pinocchio comes out. I am way more excited about what he does in the future. So I loved it. I love the Nightmare Alley. I think I will give it a good 8.6 out of 10. I enjoyed it.
I agree. I think an 8. I think this film deserves like an 8-. It's in the upper echelon of film. Although I'll also give this, you know what? Let me give this a little more praise. This is one of those movies that I'll probably watch a second time soon.
Okay.
Which is not common. Like, I very rarely watch movies twice within the span of like a month. It's rare, but feels like one of those movies I probably will.
I will rewatch it at some point, but I feel like you need to put out a whole afternoon for it. Like, it's long.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, shit. I had to part it out between 2 days. I had to watch the first 30 minutes one day and then the rest of the film the following day. But for what it's worth, I couldn't wait to finish it. Like, I spent the whole day just like, I need to get there. So I could watch it. I wanted to finish it. I had an itch for it.
Yeah. I watched it in theaters, and I rented out. Well, not rented out, but like I got tickets for like there's a special set of rooms where you can like your chair like that's the
recliner.
Like, yeah, so it reclines completely. So like I'm literally laying down watching the movie, and it feels awesome because I'm like, it's like I'm in my bed, like I'm just watching the movie. And movies like this need that because it's 2.5 hours long.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like if like I saw like and I think I've seen most of the movies that I've seen back in theaters like that. I think there's only been like a couple that I haven't. I think Resident Evil was one of them, and like most of them, I'm just like, fuck, this is amazing. It's like big screen, recliner seat, fucking awesome. But yeah, if I had watched this in like a normal seat, I would have been annoyed. Yeah, so which is why I think this movie would be really good for streaming, and I think it's on Hulu. So
it is.
Yeah. So yeah, everyone have at it, and plus it's easy because it's if you're gonna watch all your Oscar movies, like it's right there. Watch it. It's great. Yeah. Slowly but surely, we're gonna get all of them on streaming. but at least before the Oscars. I think we're getting West Side Story on Disney Plus start of March, and I think in a couple of weeks we're gonna get Drive My Car on HBO. So yeah,
I'm down
get
for
ready.
it. Can't wait.
Yeah. All right, man. So that's Nightmare Alley. Anything else you want to add?
No. No. Should we?
Let's wrap it up. All right.
Okay. Go.
Thank you for joining us. If you'd like to hear more about our thoughts on movies, check out our feeds. We're available on iTunes, Spotify, and YouTube.
Yeah, you can check us out. You want to see my face? I'm on YouTube. We have links, pretty much to every major place that you can find your podcasts. Do us a favor, maybe share us with your friends. Maybe mention to some people that there's a podcast with two dudes who don't do a very good job, but maybe give them a listen anyway.
Yeah, that's exactly how I sell the show to my friends.
The world's okayest podcast.
And we're okayest with it.
Oh God, I'm not happy about that.
My name is Chema.
I've been Eddie.
And this
was the
rollback. Signing off with a reminder to not sleep with your psychologist. That is not what they're for. And it will only lead to horrible, horrible things. Trust me, I know from the inside. Bye, everybody.